Story 1, Throwing My Steak Out a Window. Last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to really be hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. Soon she brought out the main course, a nice big juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked this steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating this steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big-time FU. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest fricking window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of a "there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me" expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak-on-window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, my empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry. I am such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it, and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I really am a klutz, right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I am so sorry, etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me like I had escaped from the loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody, raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, "I'm fine." TLDR. Tried to sneakily throw my undercooked steak through an open window, only to find out it wasn't open. Edit. Thanks, kind. Redditors. Update. Just got the first post, "I'm fine" communication from my wife via text, who is at work. Good news, boss's name. And I just had a good laugh over how much of a fucking idiot you are. I hope you know you will never live this down. Love you, you moron. One question, OP. Let's say the window was open and the steak is gone. She returns a minute later. What you just tell her you devoured it? It's times like this when you should just fake a seizure. You should have grilled the steak under the pretense that you were killing off any germs it might have picked up on the floor. Now you know exactly what to do the next time you encounter a rare steak. Step 1. Ask yourself, what is more important? Your dignity or the chance to enjoy the steak, one of man's finest sustenance, to your liking? If dignity, go to step 5 and stay there. If steak, good choice, proceed to next step. Step 2. Drop it by accident. Hurling and closed window optional. Step 3. Apologize profusely and feign lack of motor skills. Step 4. Wash with cold water. And claim it must be recooked to kill germs and reheat. Optional. If steak not well seasoned in the first place, proceed to bust out your portable culinary tool set and ingredients and turn that sorry piece of shit into divine slab of heavenly mouthfeels. Step 5. Step 6. Feed your manhood. In fact, he could have accidentally dumped it onto the floor and then grilled it to kill the germs without ever tossing it at the window. By that logic, he could have just said he preferred it a little more thoroughly cooked and asked that it be put back on. Most people aren't offended by this, especially people who aren't professional grill masters. He may have gotten an annoyed look from his wife, but definitely not a, "Why the fuck did you just throw your steak at her window?" Look, you go full Gordon Ramsay and shout, "What the fuck is this? This steak is so raw it's eating the fucking salad." All you had to do was ask if she could cook it for a little longer. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But hey, look on the bright side. You'll have a funny story to tell to all your friends for years to come. At the bar after. Meeting with your divorce lawyer. To be fair, I don't think steak is a great idea for a dinner if guests are coming over in the first place. For this exact reason, not everyone feels comfortable asking for their steak to be cooked more, whether that's right or wrong. Stick to dishes that are harder to screw up and more likely to appeal to everyone. What exactly was your endgame here? Were you planning to sneak back onto her property late at night to remove the steak? Or were you just hoping that she'd see it and think she got a visit from the steak fairy? OP was probably high as a kite and didn't really think it through. This would be an excellent Windex commercial. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, "I'm fine." The only reason I believe this story is because of that statement. I just love the thought process. OP sees the window, and in that instant, he thinks to himself, "I fucking got this. I am a fucking genius." This has to be the best Tfue post I've ever read. I'm honestly in tears. All I could imagine was your wife's face after you said, "I am really a klutz, right, honey?" Got me in tears. Brilliant story, sir. I'm actually crying real tears in my cubicle because this is easily one of the funniest things I've read in a long time. Excellent storytelling. OP 1010 would cry again. No way. No one could be that dumb. You have to be Peter Griffin or some sort of sitcom character. What did you plan on saying after you threw the steak out the window and just sat there with a suddenly empty plate? No way. No one could be that dumb. Someone can always be that dumb. That's the first thing you learn in IT. You work in IT? Great. I have this problem. My computer keeps getting an error and shuts down. I know. You normally want to come see the computer yourself, but this is just a quick thing. I'm sure you can do it over Reddit because you are so amazing with computers. The error? I don't know what it said. I just close it because it's annoying. Look, I'm going to step out for lunch, so why don't you come in and take a look? I know it's your holiday, but this will only take a few minutes. I'm sure your brother won't mind if you step out for 10 minutes. Weddings can be pretty boring. You are probably glad to get away from it, lol. Anyway, I urgently need it done so I can send the urgent reports away urgently today. Your email was really long. I didn't read it. There's no need to email me stuff. I just need you to come in and fix my computer. Oh, you already fixed it? I didn't notice, lol. I haven't looked at my computer since last week. I just printed the report on a different computer. You should have said, "I'm so sorry, I saw a spider on the window and I totally panicked, oh my goodness," and then cooked the steak a bit more, in case there are spider germs on it. You know, if you just explained what happened to your wife, and took it upon yourself to take a bouquet of flowers to your wife's boss, you'd probably be doing better. I think if you took the flowers to your wife's boss and explained in detail the same story you just wrote, I do not see how someone could not find this hilarious. I mean, if someone did this in my house and explained the story to me that you just wrote, I'd forgive them. agree that it was an idiot move, but you panicked because you were trying to make a great impression and didn't want to offend her by saying the food was undercooked. I'm sure that would fix things and make a good impression. Question. My friend just died. I don't know what to do. All right, here goes. I'm old. What that means is that I've survived, so far, and a lot of people I've known and loved did not. I've lost friends, best friends, acquaintances, co-workers, grandparents, mom, relatives, teachers, mentors, students, neighbors, and a host of other folks. I have no children, and I can't imagine the pain it must be to lose a child. But here's my 2 cents. I wish I could say you get used to people dying. I never did, I don't want to. It tears a hole through me whenever somebody I love dies, no matter the circumstances. But I don't want it to not matter. I don't want it to be something that just passes. My scars are a testament to the love and the relationship that I had for and with that person. And if the scar is deep, so was the love. So be it. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are a testament that I can love deeply and live deeply and be cut or even gouged, and that I can heal and continue to live and continue to love. And the scar tissue is stronger than the original flesh ever was. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are only ugly to people who can't see. As for grief, you'll find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning, with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of the wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing. Maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who is also floating. For a while, all you can do is float. Stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. When they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe. You can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song, a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything. And the wave comes crashing. But in between waves, there is life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are only 80 feet tall, or 50 feet tall, and while they still come, they come further apart. You can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at O'Hare. You can see it coming for the most part, and prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will, again, come out the other side. Soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you'll come out. Take it from an old guy. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you don't really want them to. But you learn that you'll survive them, and other waves will come, and you'll survive them too. If you're lucky, you'll have lots of scars from lots of loves and lots of shipwrecks. I lost my husband last year, and damn, you nailed it. All the books I've read and therapists I've seen have never explained the grieving process in such an elegant metaphor. I feel like if someone had told me this last year, I would not have spent so much time drowning. Thank you. Drowning feels really normal and really intimate. I would know. I'm still sinking. I felt angry and alone, so that's what I became. But then I realized that the future demands my time, my presence, my effort, that no matter how eager I was to feel defeated, in my head my body kept going, kept time, kept feeling. Realistically, the only reason I made any progress was because, despite feeling so abnormal, I really only stood to improve from recognizing how predictable my grieving really was. Still, not all the way there, obviously. but getting a little stronger every day. Needless to say, sorry for your loss. That is all beautiful and true. As another old guy, I would add only one thing. Don't feel guilty if you don't feel the way you think you're supposed to feel. To pick up Gisno's analogy, those 100-foot waves may be entirely absent at first, dead calm. That's not the bereaved's fault. I lost my father this April. The best thing that I was told when being the man of the family for my mom and sisters was from a longtime friend. He said, if it didn't hurt, the person wasn't worth knowing. So the only thing I can say is I hope it hurts like hell. It does, but I'm kinda glad it does. Damn, I miss you, Dad. What the hell, man? You just made the most accurate and stunningly beautiful description of every loss I have ever experienced. I am going to save this piece of text, and with your permission, retell it whenever someone in my vicinity experience a similar loss. I love the shipwreck metaphor. It describes the grieving process perfectly. After the loss of my mother, I gradually came to understand a similar metaphor for what it's like to live with the pain of loss after the initial catastrophe has passed. As with yours, the image that I formed is of wreckage and water. I've thought about it a lot in the years since her passing. In my version, the wrecked hulk of the ship itself is your pain. It's the overwhelming, intense sense of agony you feel. It is your grief. To touch it is to touch the pain and experience it again. It is all around you. The wreckage sinks gradually over time. You bob on the surface, and the wreckage sinks deeper into the water beneath you. During its initial descent, it takes almost no effort to reach it, touch it, and feel overwhelmed by the pain. But as it sinks, it's less and less immediate, less present. You can dive down to reach it, or you can be forced under to its depth. And the pain is just as sharp, and the longing is just as intense. But most of the time, you continue to bob on the surface. It no longer surrounds you. As years pass, it sinks, further and further down, but never completely out of reach. And on the rarer and rarer occasions that you find yourself holding your breath and diving down, you touch a sense of loss as huge as it was the day it sank. And that's how it will always be. It is always painful. The grief is always intense. It just drifts far enough down to allow you to float at the surface, mostly undisturbed, and you feel less compelled to dive down to visit it. I just passed the 10-year anniversary of the loss of my mom. I took a deep breath and dove. My wreckage is deep, but I still found it within my reach. It hasn't deteriorated for all of its time submerged. It just resides as permanent debris way, down in the deep, dark, still waters that I don't navigate much anymore. I just want you to know, this is still helping people 10 years down the line. Wow. 10 years ago, I was a teenager who hadn't known loss, and now I feel like loss has made me who I am, mostly to my detriment, but still. I'm still finding it hard to let go of guilt, regret, and shame I have around one of my losses, but hopefully, I come through soon. Hey there, I don't really belong here. No one died. I just had to cut off my loved one. Realized I would never be good enough and her emotional abuse wouldn't stop, no matter the promises of not hurting each other. But I still find a lot of comfort in your words. It's easy to be angry instead of grieving, and I don't really want to face the pain I'm in, but knowing that I just need to keep breathing in between of the waves helps a lot. And all this misery is kind of a proof of existence. I chose to love. I tried my best, and it was real, even if not enough. Thank you. Hello. Belonging here has very little to do with it, I think. Grieving happens in response to loss, not death. 100,000 people around the world probably die every day, but we only mourn the ones we were connected with. The loss of your loved one is more than ample reason to grieve, no matter the cause. And the depth of your grief is an expression, not of the cause of the loss, but an expression of the strength of your connection. I think you're right that your misery is proof of existence. I would even go a step further. I think the depth of your pain is a direct result of the depth of your connection. The hole in your chest matches the size of the place in your heart that you made for her. Little heart, little pain. Massive heart, massive pain. So your anguish is a measure of your depth, of your capacity to love. I hope you understand, then, when I say to you, bravo. I'm not celebrating the intensity of your pain. I'm celebrating the capacity of your love. And love is indeed a choice, as I see it. If somewhere down the road you choose to love again, it will be an even deeper love because you know the cost, you know the risk, you know the pain. And what is agony to you now will become gift to someone else, if you choose. So I say it again, bravo. At the risk of sounding like an old hippie, which I've been accused of being from time to time, peace, eventually. I can't believe I found this again after all these years. Thank you for this message. It truly has stood the test of time. So, many people know these words and they have helped me so much over the years. Just found this poem, and it describes my own experience of grief in such accuracy. Thank you, Xno.